Honestly, I think a lot of the banks got scared when they saw what happened to our bank, because we had 54% of our portfolio in consumer and SME, whereas most banks at that time were 9 to 11%. So we were heavily skewed towards SME and consumer, and those are the parts that collapsed first. And I think banks got scared and are still scared that, if we go into this unorganized, undocumented, or less documented sector, we can't practice traditional lending processes. They just don't work. So you have to have business models that work. It's not name lending. It's not a big company that you know about which has good corporate governance and there are systems and controls in place. These are, I wouldn't call them companies, they're establishments run by 1, 2, or 3 people. And getting that metric right is hard because there's no data for it. There's no default data that's published, right? So when you go into these things, you need to have the default data, because if you don't price in the default data, you're going to lose money. So I think a lot of people, and I say the banks, without meaning to criticize them, there is an easier way to make money, which is to either lend to the large corporates or go into the capital markets, or to just buy T-bills and PIBs. And that's not the bank's fault, right? That's what will happen when we have those opportunities which are easier to make money than going into lending to consumers and SMEs, especially given what the experience of people has been. The default rate on SMEs at that time was 34%. 1 out of 3 was defaulting. So what does that tell you? They can't all have been bad businesses. I can tell you one incident where we would lend in markets. So I went personally to see what was going on. And so one of our clients who had defaulted was fine. It was a small business. And I said, what happened? Why did you stop paying? Nothing. Business seems to be okay. The customers are coming. Your shop's still open. सर जी मैं आपको क्या बताऊं? मैंने कहा फिर भी बता दो यार, मैं तो सीखने आया हूँ. तो वो जो 2 दुकानें दूर है ना, उसके बैंक ने 40% प्रिंसिपल का राइट ऑफ दे दिया. तो आप भी मुझे दे दें, मैं बाकी आपको दे दूंगा. And that's when I decided that these guys really don't maybe deserve this credit, because there's nothing wrong with the business, but he just wants a cut just because the guy next door got a cut and he got a burden relieved of him. So he said, let me take the same attitude. We have a very poor legal system to help banks get their money back. So I'll just default. The bank will negotiate with me and I'll get a write-off. That attitude permeates, and it prevents the banks from getting confidence in should we lend to this segment or not, especially when there are other segments open to make money which are so much easier. So why do I want this headache? People must be saying to themselves, and I don't blame them. That the environment is not right, and maybe we were way out of line in terms of timing, but we did really try to make that change, but it didn't work. And now when I look back, I say, yeah, maybe our models were not right, but maybe there is a streak in us that we don't worry about the consequences, because there aren't many, of a credit default.